So one of the very first things that we learn in any biology class is that biodiversity is important. And ecosystems thrive with more species than less species, which makes sense because biodiversity creates a stability within an ecosystem. And disease or natural disasters or any sort of event that changes the environment um, would be affected if there were less species. It would be affected much more if there were less species because an ecosystem with more species is able to recover and survive one of these events. Now, humans, we basically, once we were able to control our environment with agriculture, and I guess we've been doing it for 10,000 years, so now we view the wild as chaotic, and we call it the wild, and we think that other species are struggling in order to get their food, and this isn't true necessarily, and they live simpler lives, which is as positive and it's negative. I would never suggest that humans should live as hunter-gatherers or nomads. It's not necessarily, I don't believe that that's necessary in order for our survival as a species. But I do think that we are destroying the biodiversity on the planet, and I'd like to point out that as a human species, we do something different than basically all other species on the planet, and we, by expanding our population, we destroy the other ecosystems and our competitors, and we push out all of the competitors from space, and we build our homes and we build our farms to get our food supplies and other things that are important, our natural resources for our human survival in the culture as we have it now. So if every species on the planet were to live like humans live, by expanding and destroying our competitors, and then we basically only have the strongest on each level of life in the community of life surviving. For example, if a hyena were to live the way that humans live, then they'd set off a space where they wanted to live, and they'd say, no lions can be here. So they'd kill off any lions that were within their habitat, and they'd push them all out, and the lions wouldn't be able to survive, and they'd kill off any lions within, and they'd kill off any lions outlying. So now that the lions are gone, the hyena population can grow, and their food supply would then decrease. It's basic ecology, if you have less competitors, and which means more food for yourself, then your population would in turn grow. So now if your population is growing, your food source is decreasing, which means that in order to sustain your population, you now need to kill off the rest of your competitors. So then with all your competitors gone, your population then grows again, and your food source then decreases again. And you need to sustain your population once again, so you kill off all of your food sources competitors. So now you're destroying the biodiversity on not only your level, but your food sources level. And then your population increases, and the food source then decreases. And so now, as a hyena, you'd say, oh, the zebras are eating this type of grass, so let me kill off any competitive grasses or any competitive plants that are in the area, and expand more space so that your food source now has more of a food source, so that you're not destroying the biodiversity on another level. And this is basically what humans are doing, except on a global scale. So now we are destroying biodiversity on every level throughout the world, and we are killing off our effects. Have killed off multiple species per day. I think it's something like 12, if somebody would like to look that up and correct me. I don't know the exact number of species that I think we're losing per day, and I just think it's important as a species that we recognize that we are destroying biodiversity, and biodiversity is very important, and that if any change were to happen, any disease were to come, any natural disaster that was devastating to our environment, or even we run out of our natural resources, which we are doing, will be less likely to survive because of the lack of biodiversity.